Hey guys, Mike here, and today we're going to be looking at Set a Watch from Rock Manor Games. You begin setting up the game by opening up the board, which just so happens to be inside the game box itself. You randomly select 4 adventurers, and you always play with 4 no matter what the player count is. So here I'll get the Ranger, the Wizard, the Rogue, and the Beastmaster. Each character has a set of 5 unique ability cards, and you'll randomly select 3 of them for each character to begin with. Each player also gets 3 dice of one color. Some heroes get to use D8s, and some heroes get to use D6s. So here the Wizard and the Rogue have D6s, the Ranger and the Beastmaster have D8s. Next, you set up the creature deck. You're going to start with as many summon cards as you want for the difficulty you're playing. These are kind of like epidemic cards in Pandemic, where you're going to sort of seed them throughout the deck, and we're going to play a normal difficulty game with 2 summon cards. Then we'll take 2 acolytes, creatures that must be in every single game, and 28 other creatures randomly taken from the big deck of creatures. You shuffle the 2 acolytes and the 28 other creatures together. And then you divide them evenly between the 2 summon cards, and then shuffle them together and stack them on top of each other. So you're going to end up with 2 summon cards in this case, having half of the deck, each having 1 summon card. Next, we're going to prepare the map and the locations we're going through. We've got 3 types. We've got standard locations with no icon, respite locations that are generally easier and help you out, and then the final location. We take 8 regular location cards to start the map deck and put them on top of our chosen final location, giving us 9 locations in total. The respite locations get shuffled in with the remaining normal locations and might show up later depending on choices we make. Okay, almost ready to go. We're next going to take the Unhallowed cards. These are extra strong, kind of like chief enemies. We shuffle them all together. We keep 1 to start our horde. These are a big group of enemies that will grow over the course of the game. We can also get rid of that will join the final location. Then we take 7 more Unhallowed enemies, and we flip them up so we can see what the first one is. In this case, a very nasty Minotaur. We lay everything out on or near the board, our map deck, our Unhallowed enemies, our horde with only 1 card in there right now, our creature deck. We finish by lighting the fire, putting our firewood level at 7, our starting value, which will let us reveal 2 enemies, as you'll see soon. Now let's briefly meet each of our heroes and their abilities. So first we got the Beastmaster. Every hero has a camp action that only they can take when they go to camp. We'll see how that works in a minute. So the Beastmaster has the Set Trap ability. Basically at the start of fighting the enemies, the watch phase, a die he puts here becomes direct damage to the first enemy in line and might even get them killed before they have a chance to do any reveal abilities. So he can kind of help the guys fight even though he's back at camp. You'll note that he has a special ability to tame creatures, and we'll see that on a lot of his ability cards, but he can only have up to 2 tamed creatures. And his 3 ability cards that he starts with are Tracking. So there's a passive ability, which means it gets used automatically without a die. Once per round, you can tame a forest creature in first position. Animal Sentry, spend a tamed forest creature to defeat the last creature in line. That's a nice little combo there. And finally, Hunt, tame a forest creature in the graveyard. You may use this creature as an attack die. So this is a nice little 1-2-3 combo. You can grab a forest creature from the line, use it to defeat somebody, and then grab it from the graveyard and attack with it again. So definitely liking that. And one final thing we haven't touched on yet, each hero is either a melee or a ranged hero. In this case, the Beastmaster is a ranged hero. That means he'll be able to attack enemies in the first 2 positions. Melee can only attack the person right in the front. Okay, next we have the Rogue, a weaker D6 melee hero. Her special ability is perform an equip action, and one player on watch may also perform an equip action. Equip actions let you switch out your ability cards for one of the 2 cards that you didn't start with. She's got Smoke Bomb, choose a revealed creature and treat their printed text blank box as if it were blank, so she can cancel special ability. Stay Dead, any creature the Rogue defeats is permanently removed from the game. That's a nice one. And Throwing Daggers, reveal a creature and increase one of your dice to its maximum value. Your direct attacks are ranged this round, so she can turn herself into a ranged hero. Next we have the Wizard, also a D6 like the Rogue, but with ranged attacks. His special ability is Teleport. Draw the top 3 cards from the unused location deck and pick one to swap with the top card of the Mac deck. So there are a few abilities that let people do this kind of thing, but the Wizard's is the best. He can get you one of those respite locations that are generally easier and more helpful instead of one of the normal locations. Basically switch something you're going to encounter in the game. And he's got Curse, defeat a creature that already has an attack die assigned to it, so a damaged creature basically. Shock Ball, defeat a creature with 8 or less health. And one of my favorites, Chaos Blast. Defeat 2 revealed adjacent creatures and add a new creature to the end of the line. So a little bit luck-based there, but can do a ton of damage. And last, we have our Ranger, a D8 ranged hero. So we have 3 ranged heroes. The Rogue is the only melee one, and he has the ability to become, or she has the ability to become a ranged hero. The Ranger's camp ability is Elven Scout. Draw, look at, and rearrange the top 4 cards of the creature deck and then return them in whatever order I like, so we can make sure we don't get surprised by anything really nasty. And her abilities are Farsight, increase the range of all adventurers by 1 until the end of the round, so we can actually shoot enemies that are 3 spaces down. Sharpshooter, once per round, you may re-roll and reuse a die spent on a direct attack. That's pretty awesome. Then Slumber, conceal a revealed creature, recover any die stolen by that creature, and push it to the back of the line. Now I'll teach you how to play the game as we work through the first round. So the first step of a round is you flip over the next location card, and you'll see a firewood modifier. Sometimes it's positive, but usually negative. You ignore this for the first location, so we don't lose 3 firewood right now, but otherwise it would go down. Firewood's super important, determines how many enemies you can see and fight, and you lose if it gets to 0. Well, you don't lose, you have to hurt yourself to get some back, so not great. The location also says how many enemies I'll be fighting this round, which is only 6, not too high. Then they always have abilities as well. Okay, all adventurers with an exhausted ability card, refresh that card and must exhaust a different active ability card. That has no effect on me right now because this is resolved immediately because none of us are hurt yet. You'll see how exhausted abilities work later. So this stays up here in the current location spot as a reminder. Okay, next we roll our dice for each hero. So I'll show you 2 at a time. Okay, so the wizard gets a 2, a 5, and a 5. Higher is better. And the ranger gets 5, 6, 5. Not too bad for either of them. As for the Beastmaster and Rogue, the Beastmaster gets 1, 2, 3. Yuck. And the Rogue gets 1, 1, 6. Now, right away, we have our first big decision to make, and that is which of our 4 heroes will rest at camp this turn. This is something that will happen every time we go to a location, except for the final location where all 4 of us fight. One hero must rest and keep the fire safe, because light is the only thing pushing these monsters back. Now, we've got these double-sided camp tokens, nice wooden ones, and it has a 1 and a 2 side, and the requirement is that every hero, before we get to the final location, must rest twice. So once, like the wizard, for example, has the level 2 on there, meaning he's rested twice, he cannot be chosen to rest anymore. We have to choose somebody else. Now, there's a conundrum because, in general, you want to put the people with the lowest results, the Beastmaster in this case, at the camp. But the better your dice, and also if you have doubles or triples, the cooler stuff you can do at the camp. So here I'm kind of conflicted. The Rogue does have a 6, but also has doubles, which again gives me access to special powers. But the Beastmaster has just a 1, 2, and 3. Definitely not going to send the Wizard or the Ranger. And in this case, I am going to go with the Rogue because her special ability, perform an equip action, and one other player can perform an equip action. That's going to let me shore up some of the cards I don't like as much. Some ability cards are better than others, or at least more useful universally than others. So I'm going to, I think, send the Rogue to camp, put a 1 on her, and she'll be able to kind of set us up for a good fight this round. So we've got our Rogue here with a 1, 1, and 6. Remember, she has her special camp ability. By placing a die here, any value, she can perform an equip action, and one other player on watch may also perform an equip action. But let's see what else she can do. So you have several possible camp actions all marked on the board. Chopped firewood, any die value will do that, and that raises your firewood up by 2, which again is important to keep up because every location pretty much is going to move it down. You've got Scout Ahead, which lets you look at the top 2 cards of the monster deck, the monsters I'm about to fight. I'm about to fight 6. And I can put those 2 cards on the top or the bottom, either or, in whatever order I like. So you can actually like put really nasty monsters later in the deck. But with Scout Ahead, as noted, each die has to be greater. So if I do a 1 first, it would have to be a 2 or higher, then a 3 or higher. Each die has to be higher than the last one. Check Map needs a 4 or more. I look at the next location, and I also draw the top location of the extra deck, which remember might have those respite, easier locations in it. Not nearly as powerful as the Wizard's version of the action, but I can do that. Equip, I've already said, lets you switch out an ability card. And then Heal has to be exactly a 6, but that lets you unexhaust one of your ability cards. So basically how damage works in the game is you'll flip these abilities to their exhausted side. That both shows that you're injured and also takes away the use of that ability card. So with the heal or with other effects sometimes you can heal those cards. And every time a hero is chosen to rest, another part of this camp action decision, they also get to heal one of their cards. Now our final 3 actions are marked on the back of each location card, but also explained on the player aid and in several other places. We've got these 3 rune actions. Now, you can only take these if you roll doubles or triples, then you have to put at least 2 of those matching dice on different spaces of these, and you can't do the same space twice. Vanquish is one I'm going to use right now with one of the Rogue's doubled up ones, And that kills the top enemy in the horde. Remember, the horde is just this like pile of creatures waiting to destroy you at the end of the game in the final location. So it's good to keep that clear if you can. And this wasn't a hallowed card, this really unhallowed, this really nasty one from the beginning of the game in the setup, so it's great to get rid of them. The Lich is gone. Now, Seal would go through the graveyard, the discard pile of the creatures, and get rid of an unhallowed card to basically make the graveyard not as nasty. But that's not useful right now because you don't have a graveyard, so I'm going to do the other action, which is Bolster. And what Bolster does is it lets each hero reroll as many dice as they want. So the Wizard will reroll just his 2, and that's wonderful. And the Beastmaster will reroll all of this crap. And, okay, slightly better, 2, 4, 5. And for her last action, because again, each die in the game is basically an action, I'm going to use my Prepared ability to perform an Equip action. So the Rogue will get to change out one ability card, and also one of my other characters will get to. For the Rogue, both of her missing cards are pretty powerful. Backstab, reveal 2 creatures and defeat one of them whose health is equal to or less than the total of your die rolls this round. That's a pretty amazing card because it does avoid the reveal effect of the monsters you reveal, which can be pretty nasty. Now, alternatively, Poison Blade, the next 2 direct attacks from the party deal +2 damage for each revealed creature. So if I set up a lot of revealed creatures, this can do a ton of extra damage. But I love Backstab and the ability to stop monsters before they mess me up with their abilities, so I'm going to do that. And out of these, this makes a creature's text box blank. This lets me permanent defeat guys and doesn't cost a die because it's passive. And this increases one of my dice to its maximum value and makes me have range attacks this turn. I think I don't need the throwing daggers because everyone else is a ranged adventurer or hero, so we should be fine getting rid of that. Now, as for the other heroes, I think the Ranger is definitely the one that stood out to me as having kind of weaker abilities. Sharpshooter is great. Once per round, re-rolling a die because each of these is generally single use, so she basically gets 4 dice a turn instead of 3. But Slumber sends an enemy back and gets a stolen die back, but they're just going to steal it again. Now, it can be useful in the short term, but in the long term, not that great. And then Farsight's also not that awesome because, again, pretty much everyone already has ranged attack. See, I think anything with range is not going to help me too much, so I'm going to go with... I've got Long Shot, defeat any unrevealed creature card, again, without having the reveal, so that's a great combo with Backstab. And then Elf Senses, reveal 1 more creature than the campfire currently allows until the end of the round, and prevent the next reveal power from triggering. So both of these cancel some bad reveal abilities. This has kind of a longer-term, weaker effect. This just kills a guy. I mean, it's hard to argue with Long Shot. So yeah, we're going to have a lot of creature removal. Pretty nice. All right, so now we're going to start the main meat of the game, the Watch phase. And note that the Rogue does not do anything in the Watch phase now. The other 3 heroes will fight the people. And it's pretty quick, so it's not like if the Rogue player was playing the game, they'd be out for too long. But they do just have to kind of watch for a little bit. So the location, remember, said we had a creature level of 6. So we're going to take 6 creatures and lay them out in a line. Doesn't really matter what way you go. I think the rule book shows top to bottom, but we're going to do left to right. The only key thing is you know where the front of the line is. We're going to say left is the front, right is the back. Our current firewood level shows how many creatures we have revealed at one time, which is 2. It's pretty bad if you go below this and only have 1 at a time because it negates a lot of the abilities you might try to use. And then if you can get a really high firewood level, you can do 3, which is great. And you reveal creatures 1 at a time from left to right, revealing any abilities as you go. So we've got a Treant. Let's show you the basic parts of a creature card. This is the amount of damage they'll do if you don't defeat them. So basically, any undefeated enemies go to the Horde, so they'll come back again at the end, and also force you to exhaust this many of your ability cards, so a double whammy. This is how much damage we have to do to them to defeat them. And then their special ability, and also their type, which matters sometimes. Like, remember, the Beastmaster likes to get those forest creatures and take control of them. Okay, so we've got a Treant, not too bad, and he actually gives us extra firewood when we defeat him. And we've got a really nasty one, an Ember Drake, 12 life, 3 damage. And we're kind of lucky that he ended up in second position, because when he gets to first position, he'll force us to exhaust an ability card and lose 3 firewood. Now, for the actual phase, we can take actions in whatever order we want. So the Wizard can do 2 things, and the Ranger can do something, and the Beastmaster can do something, until everyone has used all their dice and all the ability cards they want to use. The 2 basic actions are doing direct damage, which means you put one of your dice on your spots up here and deal that much damage to somebody in range. Again, for these guys, every single one of them has ranged combat, so they can hit either of these people in the first 2 spots. And you can add up damage however you want, so the Wizard could do 2, and then the Ranger could do 10 more, and that would equal the Ember Drake's 12, and he would be discarded, and we'd reveal the next one, because you always have 2 revealed. The other action you can take is to put a die on an ability that is not a passive ability. The passive abilities like Tracking and Sharpshooter can just happen automatically as many times as they say, in this case once per round. But for the ability cards, putting a die on it of any value will activate it, so you usually want to use your lowest dice. Additionally, for any of these activatable cards, you can also flip them to activate, which again hurts you and makes you not be able to use that ability until you heal it. But in a really bad pinch, you can double use an ability, once for a die, once for flipping it. Okay, we've got no forest creatures for the Beastmaster to use right now. The Wizard, remember, can blast 2 people or defeat somebody with 8 health or less, or defeat anyone with a die on it, so we could, just attack the Ember Drake with a 2 and then blast him with Curse. That's pretty awesome. But first, let's do stuff that we want to do early. Long Shot destroys any unrevealed creature card. So this is a total total luck guess. I'm going to put the lowest die for the Ranger, a 5. I'm going to grab, I don't know, the last guy. Let's see who it is. And, this was not good in multiple ways. So this was an Eagle, which is a forest creature. The Beastmaster could have grabbed him, and he was only a 3. So that was actually kind of a waste of my 5 there. So this creature goes to a graveyard above the creature deck, and a lot of powers like the Beastmaster taming someone from the graveyard and attacking with them stem from that. Alright, so we definitely want to kill this Ember Drake before he does anything nasty. So let's do the little combo I'd said a second ago. Let's have the Beastmaster do 2 damage to him, and then the Wizard will curse him, defeating him because he's already damaged. So he is gone. And again, whenever you do direct damage, it just sits up here to show you've used that die. Now we immediately reveal the next card. Another first position dragon, but only 6 life this time. 2 damage, -3 firewood if he gets that far. And the only person with exactly a 6 right now is the Ranger, so she'll go ahead and shoot with a direct attack and defeat the Wyvern or Wyvern. And we'll use her Sharpshooter ability. I just like to kind of exhaust it or tap it to show a passive ability's been used, and she can re-roll this die instead of losing it. So now she's got a 5 and a 3 waiting. We reveal the next card. Okay, a Forest Giant. He's got 8 health to start, but then we also reveal the next creature in line and add their health to his. It is a Bandit, another first position. We're lucky that none of these guys got too far up. So the Forest Giant right now is a 15, though, and then the Bandit is a 7. And if the Bandit gets to first position, he steals one of our dice. Stealing means that we just put it on him, and it's gone. It can't be used for the entire round. It has to be an unused die, too. We get it back at the end of the round, of course, but even if we kill him, we don't get to use it. And so how to defeat these final people. The Forest Giant is ridiculous right now with 15 life. Ooh, but we can do something about that. So Shock Bolt by the Wizard defeats a creature with 8 or less health. Let's defeat the Bandit, taking away the booster to the Forest Giant, and suddenly he has 8 health instead of 15. And the rest shouldn't be too hard. We've got 8 right here for the Ranger, so she can defeat the Treant all by herself, and that's going to raise our firewood by 2 up to 9. And then the Wizard and the Beastmaster can work together with 9 damage to defeat that Forest Giant without any boosting. Now all the enemies are defeated, but we have a single die left, and Hunt says tame a forest creature in the graveyard. You may use this creature as an attack die, but we don't have to. And the Beastmaster can actually carry his up to 2 tamed creatures to the next battle. So we'll do that and grab that Eagle that the Ranger unfortunately shot with an arrow and hang on to her or him for the next fight. So here we go, and if we do end up using this creature to attack, it'll be its own life value of 3, but more likely we'll use it for Animal Sentry to defeat the last creature in line automatically. Awesome. Alright, we did very well that first fight, although I will tell you that none of the really, really nasty creatures came out. So we start our next round by revealing the next location. Oh my gosh, -6 firewood, that is vicious. So we're down to 3, and remember, we really want to be at least 7 to be safe. We're going to get 7 creatures, and the ability, collect 1 extra firewood for each die spent chopping wood. So whoever goes to camp this turn definitely needs to chop a bit. We're going to roll our dice and see who might want to go to camp. Beastmaster rolls amazing, 8, 7, and 8. The Wizard only 1, 2, and 2. I definitely have a favorite already. The Ranger gets a 1, 2, and 8. Not fabulous. And the Rogue gets a 5, 6, and a 2. Now remember, we could send the Rogue again, but then she would not be able to camp for the entire rest of the game, even if she had a terrible roll, so we don't want to. But yeah, I think the obvious choice is the Wizard. He'll get his first single camp token. Now he did get doubles, so we can use those abilities, although I think he's probably just going to be chopping firewood. But don't forget his teleport ability. He can look at the top 3 cards of the unused locations and pick one to make our next location, which could be one of those great respite locations. But first things first, we got to deal with the obvious. He's going to chop firewood twice. Usually that gets you +2, but because of the witch, we get +3 each. So we're back to the 9 we started at and seeing 2 creatures. The game gets really tough, like I said, when you only see 1, so I want to try to always keep it at that 2 level at least. And for his last one, he is going to use his teleport, hopefully get us a great location. So we're going to flip over the top 3 of these, and great! So one of them is a respite location. And compare these, like, this has 0 firewood loss, this one has firewood loss, it has fewer enemies, the summoning circle actually adds one of those really tough enemies automatically. So we're definitely going to go to the remote tavern. Oh man, the adventurer resting in camp refreshes an additional card. So the wizard's going to teleport us to this really nice, friendly place instead of whatever terrible space we might have gone to. And let's see what it's replacing. An abandoned village, -2 firewood, all dice go down by 1 in value, and 6 enemies. Way better to be at this tavern for sure. And if you're curious, by the way, all of the extra location cards go to the bottom of the deck, so we won't see them again. Okay, with the wizard resting, we're going to have our ranger, rogue, and beastmaster. We're going to take 7 enemy cards for the line. I'm just going to show you the 2 that are revealed. Okay, so we've got a zombie horde. His health is added to the creature's base health on top of the graveyard. Right now, that's the Forest Giant, so he'll have 15, but we might be able to defeat somebody that would lower that. And ooh, the Acolyte, the ones who are always in the game. So only has 1 damage, only 6 health. When revealed, draw a creature and add it to the horde, and if he gets the first position, I shuffle a summon card back into the creature deck if there's one in the graveyard. We haven't seen one yet, but those are some of the nastiest cards in the game. So we definitely want to... Well, actually, it doesn't really matter right now, because none of them are in the graveyard, but if they were, we'd want to defeat him before he got the first. Our other 5 cards will hang out till we're going to see them. But the Acolyte does get us a card added to the horde. That's the only one so far. Now, we're in kind of a crazy place because we have 3 automatic removal powers on these characters. I say we use them all. So let's do Backstab first because that shows me the most. I'm going to reveal 2 creatures anywhere in the line, and then I'm going to pick one of them to kill as long as his health is less than my total of dice, and that's 13 right now, so that's almost anybody in the game. So let's reveal the next 2 creatures, 3 and 4. So we got a Phantom Cat Unhallowed card. Oh, but immune to damage and abilities while there are cards adjacent to Cat on both sides, so I can't choose him. Or Skeletons, they're only 9, so not as good as getting the Cat. Skeletons are on top of the graveyard at the end of the round, put them at the start of the line next round, so you want to make sure they're not the last person you kill. So I'll get the Skeletons, can't get the Cat sadly. And he'll be third with 3 people behind him. And don't forget, I could exhaust this and hurt myself to use it again. I'm not going to, but I could. Okay, next let's do Ranger with Longshot and go after this 4th person. Ooh, another Treant, so we defeat him for free, and we get +2 firewood. Nice. I'm not showing it, but that actually puts us 1 away from revealing 3 creatures at a time. And then finally, so I could use the 7 for the Animal Sentry and defeat the last creature in line, but a 7, I mean, that's pretty high. And I'm also getting rid of the Eagle, but whatever, let's do it. So I'm defeating this last person. It was a Fire Serpent, base health equal to the current firewood value, which is 11. So okay, I killed a 11 with a 7. That's not too bad. But I do lose my Eagle back into the graveyard for that, although I can grab her again with this Hunt if I need to. So that leaves only 1 enemy left. These powers are crazy. So that's 3 enemies with a 4th one hanging out. Oh, you know, I almost forgot the Rogue's passive Stay Dead power. She destroys the skeletons, so they can't even come back this game. Not too useful for a weak enemy like this, although it does cancel their power out. But it'd be great if it was an Unhallowed or somebody nasty. All right, the zombie horde continues to be a problem. Right now they've got +11 health, so they're an 18. Definitely going to leave them alone for the moment. My rogue does have only melee, so she can only hit people in the front. So let's see. First, we're spending a bit. Let's have the Beastmaster use an 8 to defeat the Acolyte. And that makes the zombie horde only a 13 now, 7 + 6. Remember, we can't fight the Phantom Cat until the enemies are gone from one side, so we basically have to fight the zombie horde. So to get to 13, the cleanest way to do that is with an 8 and a 5. So we'll have the Rogue and the Ranger work together since she can hit the zombie horde in the front. And the Ranger will use Sharpshooter to re-roll this 8 and get a 6. That's great. That reveals our final enemy. The Shade. Base health equal to 16 minus the firewood value. So it's nice we have a lot of light. It weakens the shadow creature. So she's down to only 5 health. All right, so we certainly want to make sure the Rogue gets the finishing blow on the Phantom Cat. So that Stay Dead gets rid of him. So let's have the Ranger do 6, and then the Rogue do 6 more for 12. And again, this Unhallowed card is taken out of the game, which is great, because otherwise he just sit in the discard pile and mess us up over and over again. And the Shade has 5. I wish the Ranger could kill him by herself, because then the Beastmaster could get that Eagle back, but unfortunately the Beastmaster is going to have to finish that Shade off and not get the Eagle this round. Alright, so once again, no damage. I'm lucky that I haven't drawn the summon cards. Clearly, at least one of them is coming in a second, because there was one in the first half of the deck. And I'm playing on normal. You can make the game a lot harder, but let's see how we do in the 3rd round. So we see our next location. We already know what it is, though. It's the remote tavern. 0 firewood lost. 5 enemies, not too bad. And then none of us are hurt, but if we were, we could refresh an additional card when we rested, so that's not going to affect us. Okay, let's see how our heroes roll. We'd love to have the Beastmaster or the Ranger rest this round to keep our options open. 6, 7, 8. Probably not going to be the Beastmaster. Ranger, 4, 5, 8. Also really good. Rogue, 2, 3, 6. Maybe nobody's going to roll badly. That'd be fine too. And Wizard, 2, 3, 4. So first, not a single person got doubles, so we can't use the runes no matter what. The worst result is definitely the Wizards, but even it's not too bad. Ooh, I know. The Beastmaster, remember, his ability to set a trap actually damages an enemy that comes out. So the fact that he has an 8 isn't going to hurt. By the way, is it a he or a she? That is unclear to me. I don't know. The Beastmaster, they have an 8 that they can set a trap with. So I think I'm going to have the Beastmaster rest, even though their result is the best one on the table. All right, to show this ability in more detail, at the start of the watch phase, assign this die's direct damage to the creature in first position. Prevent all first position powers from activating until an adventurer on watch takes an action. So we can damage somebody for 8 and then finish them off with someone else attacking before their reveal ability ever happens, if there is one. So we'll have to put our 8 on that, but what we're going to do with our 6 and our 7. We could put a 6, but nobody's hurt. We could check the map once. By the way, these are limits, so you can't check the map more than once. There's only one die space there. Beastmaster could equip. I don't really know what other options they have. Chop Firewood could get us to 3. That's not bad. Yeah, let's, I mean, the scout ahead is going to kind of be taken care of the trap anyway, so let's chop some firewood and check the map. So the firewood will put us just barely into the 3 level, so we'll reveal 3 enemies at a time. And as for the map, we just take the top card of the unused deck and the top card that we're going to next, and we choose which one to actually use. So we've got Goblin Caves. Increase the health of all goblins by 3. Now, there's only a couple goblins in the game, so that's not too terrible. Minus 3 firewood and 8 enemies, though. With a long road, plus 3 firewood. Wow. It's only 7 enemies, so less than that. But no passive adventure abilities may be used. And that would take out the Rogue and the Ranger and the Beastmaster, all having passive abilities. But still, I'm going to go for this one. 1 less enemy and plus 3 firewood is nothing to sneeze at. Alright, so here are 3. The Rogue, the Ranger, and the Wizard. Let's see how they do. Well, we're getting 5 enemies, and 3 of them are going to be revealed, so we're going to see these people pretty much right away. Don't forget, the Beastmaster's trap is going to hit this first person for 8 damage and destroy them utterly. Oh, that was beautiful. Now, they didn't have a reveal ability to ignore, but yeah, that's awesome. It does mean that we'll immediately destroy this guy, so we might have to face a first position or negative ability from him. So second is, oh, there's our first summon. So immediately exhausted adventurer cards. We do get hurt finally. And this can only be from the people on watch, so I can't hurt the Beastmaster. He's back with the fire. So let's see, which one have I not used? I think the Ranger's Slumber is probably the weakest. Again, it's only good against enemies that steal a die, and there aren't that many of those. Okay, then we'll replace this card with the top card from the Unhallowed deck, which is the Minotaur. Pretty strong guy. He moves to first position, but he's already there. But when he gets first position, he exhausts an Adventurer card. So we have to hurt somebody else. Smoke Bomb I haven't used yet, so I think we'll get rid of Smoke Bomb. Okay, and this summon card goes to the discard pile, but don't forget those acolytes can bring it back into the deck if you don't stop them from getting to first position. Alright, so we only have 4 monsters left, including the Minotaur, but that was pretty nasty right there. Once those summoning circles come out, things get real. So our second card, pretty weak Fairy, 6 life, -1 firewood if she gets to the front. And we get a Fire Serpent again, and oh my gosh, right now the fire is at level 13s. And then our fourth one we haven't seen yet. Now, I realize the negative of having so much fire is that we don't get to use Backstab and Longshot. I guess I'd rather use Backstab because the Ranger's dice are higher, and the Stay Dead will keep this monster out forever if it's a bad one. And it is a bad one. Oh, this is so great. I hate the Vampire. When they're revealed, they steal the highest die, so they would have grabbed the Ranger's 8. That would become their 8, and the Ranger wouldn't have it for the entire round. But because I backstab the Vampire, they never get to drink my blood. They never do that ability, so I defeat them, because they only have 1 health right now, so I would have easily been able to do it no matter what. And this Vampire is out of the game. This is one of my least favorite creatures, and they're dead. Awesome. So yeah, this might be a very lucky playthrough where I just bulldoze through the game, but things don't always happen this way, I promise. Alright, so nothing too complicated about this one, except the Fire Serpent has a lot of life. I do want to destroy the Fairy before she gets to first position and take some firewood from me. So let's see, we can do 2 and 3 from the Wizard, that's 6, that'll defeat the Fairy. Nasty Fire Serpent. Let's do the Minotaur first. We'll do a 6 from the Rogue and a 4 from the Longshot. We'll say the Rogue kills him and gets rid of him again with Stay Dead. Awesome. And man, this Fire Serpent has a lot of life. Let's be tricky with destroying him, though. Let's have the Rogue do 3 damage and the Wizard curse him out of existence because he's damaged with the character's die. Bam. Easy peasy round there because of the respite location making there so few enemies. But this time we are hurt, so if the ranger rests, which would be my preference because she's the only one who hasn't yet, she'll get to heal one of these in addition to doing the camp actions. Okay, we're going to our next location, and once again we know what it is, the long road. We're going up to our maximum firewood of 15. You can't go any higher. No passive abilities this round though, and we're going to get 7 enemies. We'll roll the dice. The wizard gets 442, does have a double, not too bad. Ranger, who we'd love to rest, gets a 1, 2, 3. That seems to be appropriate then. Beastmaster gets a 4, 3, 5. Not too great. And the rogue gets a 2, 4, 6. Okay, so yeah, I mean, kind of middling values overall, but definitely good for the ranger to rest this turn. So she'll take the final camp token, and now we're going to get into each person doing their second rest, and she gets to heal her slumber for free, but the rogue will stay injured unless we had a 6 for the ranger to take the heal action. So the ranger's special camp ability is Elven Scout. Draw, look at, and rearrange the top 4 creatures of the creature deck and return them in any order. I guess she'll do that. And then, equip, because I really don't like the slumber card that much. Let's try to trade that out. I think the one I like best is the one I didn't choose last time. Elf Senses, reveal 1 more creature than the campfire currently allows. That'd be 4 right now, and then prevent the next reveal power. That's pretty cool. The last thing she can do is, she can't check map, no use chopping firewood. She's going to scout ahead, but first she'll reorder the top 4 people, and then remember, this lets her take the top 2 cards and put them wherever she wants, so she can put like the 2 nastiest ones somewhere else. Let's look at the top 4 enemies. Graveshifter shifts with the top card of the graveyard, which right now is a 15 Fire Serpent, so I don't really want that to happen. Bandit pretty weak, but steals a die if he's at the front. Zombie Horde also added to the graveyard. Oh, I don't like these graveyard people. And then Forest Giant reveals a person behind him for more life. So none of these are terrible. The only kind of awkward ones right now are... the Graveshifter actually would work great with the Zombie Horde, because then it would only be 10, but I don't want the Graveshifter to become a 15 life creature. Ooh, I think I have a good idea. Okay, I'm going to put the Graveshifter 4th. I have a plan for him, so he'll be at the bottom. Zombie Horde I don't care too much about. Bandit can't be in front. And the Forest Giant can't be 3rd, because then he'd reveal the Graveshifter anyway. So let's do kind of like that. I'm actually not going to scout ahead. I just won't spend my 3rd die, because I like all those cards for now. And this is an example of Mike being dumb sometimes. If I had left this spot free for the enemies, I could have just had them go in a line, but I didn't, so now I'm going to start doing that. First, we got the Zombie Horde. Right now, he is a 8 plus 15, 23 health. We're going to change that, though. Forest Giant is boosted by the Bandit, so that's 14 health. Bandit only has 7. We got our Graveshifter on top. So here's a little trick I had. It might be kind of a waste, but I hope not. I'm going to backstab. Going to choose the Graveshifter in the next card. Oh, man, it's an Ember Drake, which is really bad. But the Graveshifter being a 15 is worse. Okay, so I'm going to kill the Graveshifter like planned. The Ember Drake does stay revealed for me to destroy later. Now the Graveshifter goes on top without shifting with anybody, and the Zombie Horde is only 10 life instead of 23 or whatever he was a second ago. Alright, absolutely no forest creatures for the Beastmaster. Where are those guys? I hope they're not all in the pile that wasn't used. That would be too bad. Alright, I think I might get a little tricky. Well, I want to kill the Zombie Horde before I do anything. So... yeah, the Rogue has no other special abilities to use, so I guess she can just go ahead and do 4 and 6 for 10 and defeat the Zombie Horde. Okay, we don't reveal anybody else yet. We do only have 2 monsters left behind these people. And by the way, I should say that the Graveshifter does go to the graveyard, because don't forget, at this location our passive abilities don't work, like Stay Dead. Okay, so I'm going to get the Bandit before he moves up, instead of letting the Forest Giant do anything tricky with him. I'd love to leave the Forest Giant for last, and all these guys have range, so no reason I can't, really. So let's do a 3 from the Beastmaster and a 4 from the... well, actually, let's use Shock Bolt from the Wizard to defeat anybody for 8 automatically. So there goes the Bandit. Okay, we see our second to last new person. Oh, it's the Shade. His life is 1 because of the fire level being so high. That's hilarious. All right, let's see. I don't know what the last card is. I'm tempted to use 2 dice to hunt that eagle again and then destroy whatever the last card is. That's probably going to be stronger than a 7 and won't have its revealed ability. Well, let's take a chance to do it. Okay, so I'll grab the eagle with Hunt. I won't attack with him right away. Although, I could attack with him and destroy the Shade and save a die, because even 1 damage is going to be tough to make happen. And this is tough. I'm definitely going to take some damage this time. I just don't have enough abilities. Although, if I did Chaos Blast, that could destroy the Ember Drake and the Shade automatically. Or the Fire... oh, I guess... yeah, destroying the Forest Giant and the Ember Drake is super powerful. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to do Chaos Blast. Let's throw both of these guys. But it does add an extra guy to the back who's about to be flipped. Okay, so we got the Shade with 1 life. Oh, we've got another Summon. Okay, so one of us takes damage immediately. I have too many taming abilities on the Beastmaster, so we can be him. I mean, I kind of need Hunt and Animal, but if I get lucky, I can just get someone automatically. Ah, crud. Okay, let's do this. Right, so this is not great. Goblin Chief. Place the 2 highest health goblin creatures from the graveyard in front of the Goblin Chief in line. So we're actually adding some guys before we see what that third card is. But either I didn't kill any goblins, or I used the Rogue Stay Dead to keep them dead. I can't remember. But either way, the guy doesn't get anybody, so that's great. And our last one is a pretty weak fairy, but again, no forest creatures here. All right, so, okay. Let's see if we can do this. I think we can. So that kills the 1. That kills the 8. That kills the 5. Yes, with all their life so low, I was barely like exactly the numbers I needed, except for the Shade there, to defeat all of them. That's awesome. All right, we're rocking and rolling. Now, we are about to reshuffle the deck, which means all the Summon cards will come back, all the Acolyte cards will come back, all of the Unhalloweds, like that Goblin Chief, will come back. Not great. Next location with no warning, Cliff Watch, -4. Wow, so we are back down below the 3 level. But 7 creatures, that's kind of middle range. All adventurers' ranges are increased by 1. Wow, so that means we can shoot super far. Okay, we're going to roll our dice. Both the Beastmaster and the Rogue are hurt, so ideally one of them would roll badly. 3, 4, 5 for the Ranger. 2, 3, 4 for the Wizard. 2, 3, 6 for the Rogue. Okay. Oh, and perfect. 1, 4, 4 for the Beastmaster. That was awesome. So we'll definitely have him rest his second time and heal his tracking. He's got a 1, 4, 4, so I definitely want to use this ability. So I'm going to Vanquish the only card in the Horde right now. Get rid of them. And it was, oh, the other Vampire? Gosh, this is totally my game right now. Then I could Seal an Unhallowed. Let's see, the Goblin Chief isn't that nasty. Is there any other one in here? You know, there isn't. So I'm actually not going to Seal because I don't really mind the Goblin Chief. It doesn't seem like there's any goblins in here, so I'm not really worried about it. So instead, we'll use the 4 to bolster and let our other heroes re-roll. So we get a lot of middling results here. We'll leave the 4. Okay, 6, that's better. Leave the 5, kind of going below the average. Oh, much better for the Ranger. Then Rogue. Okay, everyone improved. That's awesome. Okay, and then finally, what to do with the final 1. I could chop Firewood. That would get us up to the 3 level, and with +1 range, we could actually hit people 3 away. But, you know, I think the Beastmaster is going to equip, because as we've seen, there are basically no forest creatures in this deck. They must have all just by chance been put in the unused cards, so I can adjust to that. I'm going to take Set Snares, put a revealed creature back on the top of the creature deck. And I think I'm going to replace Tracking, because the chance of that 1 eagle being at the front is pretty low, but Hunt lets me grab him from the discard pile over and over again. All right, so we're going to do another fight with 7 enemies coming. There's 5. We have to reshuffle for the final 2. Okay, we reveal only 2 now. Oh, man, are you serious? Of course, a really powerful forest creature is at the front right when I got rid of the skill that would have grabbed him. Ah, well. Okay, there's another Acolyte. We're going to add a creature to the Horde, the top creature from the deck. And then if he had gotten to first, he would get to reshuffle a summon card. Actually, that doesn't matter now because they just got reshuffled in. All right, our other 5 cards are waiting. We have 2 of our auto kill powers ready, so let's get going with them. Let's backstab. Look at the next 2. Got a Wyvern 7, but really bad first position. Or, oh my gosh, Fell Beast. This guy's terrible. So he has 11 life, and if he gets the first position, he puts another creature in front of himself. So yeah, he's gone. Oh, and with Stay Dead, he's gone forever. I love that power. Okay, so the Wyvern is hanging out in 3rd position, and with the +1 range, we can actually hit him. And I guess the Ranger will long shot. Let's just do the next guy. Oh, another forest creature, so they are out there. Okay. Well, I guess I can always equip again. We'll see what happens. So that was only a 4 wolf killed with a 5 power. Not too great. All right, well, I do see a lot of forest creatures, but it looks like they're all going to die right now. But again, that means that the hunt power that I kept is going to be good for the Beastmaster once he's back in, because he can grab them from the discard pile. All right, let's go ahead and shockbolt the Wyvern. He has 7 life, so 8 automatic damage is pretty good. And the Elf will shoot the Acolyte with his 7, and then re-roll it with Sharpshooter to get a 3. 2 guys left. Metal Golem, he protects everyone behind him. That's not going to matter too much. But we definitely don't want to have the Rogue kill the Wolf, because then the Wolf would be gone, and we like the Wolf. So let's have the Ranger destroy him with just a regular die for 5. And oh, there's our summon. That came really early. Okay, so the top Unhallowed is the Pyromancer. 9 life. When revealed, place him at the end of the line. Every time we kill a monster before the pyromancer, reduce firewood by 1. That was like the perfect time to get him. Now we do have to destroy the metal golem because note that no one can be attacked with direct damage behind the metal golem, but it does mean the pyromancer won't hurt us too badly. All right, so we have a ton of dice left. This should be pretty easy. Let's do a 6 and a 3 for the metal golem. He's gone. And then Rogue will destroy the pyromancer all by himself and make him stay dead. There we go. So again, just crushing it. Maybe I've played the game too many times. I think I might have wanted to play on hard instead of just normal difficulty. By the way, just check in. We're slightly more than halfway done. We have 3 of our normal locations left, and then our final location. Don't forget, the final location gets all of the Horde cards, of which there's only 1 right now added to it. Okay, our new location, Forgotten Graveyard. -2 firewood, so we're still in our 2 range. 6 enemies. All defeated undead creatures go back to the bottom of the creature deck instead of the graveyard. That's not necessarily terrible, mainly because I already got rid of both of the vampires, thank God, and they're the worst undeads in the game. So just like some skeletons of things are cycling back to the bottom of the graveyard, not too bad. We're going to roll our dice. Remember now that the Beastmaster can absolutely not rest because he has already rested twice. Okay, the Wizard gets a 2-3-3, pretty good, but he's not hurt, whereas the Rogue is. Rogue gets 4-3-4, doubles, I like that, and it would heal her. And Ranger gets 3-3-4. Okay, so out of all of them, I want the Rogue to go because they kind of all have not great results. And that'll get rid of the damage to the smoke bomb. So yeah, she's rested. That'll mean we'll have to do the Ranger and the Wizard as our last 2. All right, so let's use doubles when we have them. Let's go ahead and vanquish the 1 card in the Horde. There it goes. It's a zombie Horde, so Horde and a Horde, that's good. And let's see, there are unfortunately no Unhallowed to seal in the discard pile. They're in there instead. So we'll go ahead and bolster the poor rolls of our other friends. So I guess the Wizard's just going to reroll everything. That's not much better. Now the Beastmaster will just reroll the 1, 6, that's great. And the Ranger will keep the 4, I guess. Okay, that's definitely better. And I think the Rogue will use her power to replace abilities again, because Stay Dead's going to be pretty much useless, because I don't think we'll get through the deck again. So I think Poison Blade would be nice. Place a die on here, and the next 2 direct attacks from the party deal +2 damage for each revealed creature. So yeah, let's put that instead of Stay Dead. Even though Smoke Bomb isn't that great, I could see myself using it, so I still think that's the better call. And then who else to replace? The Wizard has been a rock star. I don't have a problem with any of those abilities. The Beastmaster I think is about as good as we're going to get. And the Ranger, I love Longshot. I love Sharpshooter. Elf Senses is kind of weak. But all I have is Slumber and Farsight, which I already replaced. So maybe I'll just, yeah, I think I'm just not going to do anything else. I guess it's just a basic equip action. All right, so here we go. 6 enemies coming in. We're going to reveal 2 at a time. You got a Shades. Right now the fire level is 9, so he'll have 7 life. Not too bad. And a Treant that'll give us +2 firewood. Oh, so if we destroy him first, we'll actually make the Shade weaker. The other 4 cards are hanging out. Now let's see, the Wizard has the worst numbers, so let's use his abilities. Shock Bolt defeats a creature with 8 or less, bye-bye Treant. That raises our firewood up to 11, so the Shade will only have 4 life now. And oh my gosh, another Treant there is giving firewood to us. Thank you guys. Let's see, let's have the, oh, I forgot about Longshot. Let's use that before I do anything else. So a Longshot, whoever's next. Another Shade, oh man, they would have been nothing. Okay, but I'll have the Elf, the Ranger shoot with an 8, the Wizard help with a 1 to defeat the Treant. We will re-roll the Elf's 8 with Sharpshooter, get a 2. And that brings the fire up to 3 or 13, which means that we're going to see 3 cards, all of the remaining ones, and the Shade only have 3 life. So we got a Bandit who will steal a card if he gets to first, and an Ember Drake. That's the only nasty one. So let's see, the Wizard can blast anybody with this curse. So if we can defeat the Bandit, I can have the Ranger use like the 2 on the Ember Drake and blow him up. So let's have the Beastmaster do with a 7 to defeat the Bandit straight up. And we'll have the Ranger injure the Ember Drake. Wizard will finish him off. And now here we're going to get tricky with the Beastmaster. We're going to set a snare for the Shade because he's not worrisome at all and put him on top of the deck, kind of forestall any nastier enemies coming. And then he's going to hunt to set himself up for next round. Where was it? Yes, the 5 value wolf is going to be my friend for free going into the next round. And just by chance, none of the creatures we killed were undead, so we're good on the Forgotten Graveyards ability. We got 3 rounds left. We're going to have to rest with the Ranger or the Wizard. I prefer the Wizard because his teleport ability will help us out this next round, but not at all the final round because you can't change the final location. Speaking of locations, let's see what's in store for us. Barren Plains. Reduce the firewood by half, rounded down. Ooh! Okay, half rounded down, reduced by, that means, so we're 13, so half rounded down is 6, we lose 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just barely at level 2. But only 6 guys to fight, so that part's not terrible. Okay, let's roll for it. 887, wow, Beastmaster. Rogue, 652, nice. Wizard, 553. Oh, man. Well, I guess I could still send him if I want to. And Ranger, 436. Yeah, I mean, nobody's terrible, and the Wizard's got doubles at least, so I will send the Wizard to camp. That means the Ranger must camp the final round. Nobody really rolled that poorly, so I think I'm going to not use the runes. I'm going to chop some firewood. I'm certainly going to look at the top 3 locations and get a new one with the Wizard special power. Frost Caverns. Reduce the health of all dragons by 2. Every time a first position creature power activates, lose 1 wood. Okay, so I didn't get any respite locations. This one's only got 5, but it had the highest health creature from the graveyard to the end of the line. No, thank you. It's between these two. This has 1 less enemy, but might hurt my firewood more. So maybe I'll just chop a lot of wood. Yeah, let's put the fetid swamp on top. We're replacing the dark woods. It might have actually helped me with the forest creatures being stronger. So, I could actually check the map again and give myself 1 more chance to get a better location. Yeah, because that would make more of a difference than all the firewood I'm about to lose. Okay, so let's try it. So I'm going to get 1 more thing. Yes. Oh, the Wizard found his own cottage. So +1 firewood instead of -3. Yeah, you can get out of here, swamp. The adventurers in camp may reroll any number of their dice before taking camp actions. Nice. Only 6 enemies. Awesome. That's going to set me up beautifully to crush that final round. Okay, here we go. Mike on easy mode, destroying all in his path. We got 6 enemies this time, and we're only seeing 2 of them at a time. First, we got the shade we put up there, although he's not as easy now that the firewood went down so much. He's got 7 life. And then a fairy that'll take away 1 firewood if she gets to first. Okay, let's get tricky. Let's backstab the next 2 people. Fire Serpent, he's only a 9 right now, and Forest Giant would get boosted by whoever's behind him. So yeah, let's kill the Giant, I think. We got 2 left. Let's long shot 1 of them. Another weak little fairy, that didn't help much. Okay, we've got 1 left that we could use the wolf on, but I'm thinking I want to go into the final battle with 2 forest creatures that's ready to crush it, so let's not. So the Shade right now is a 7, the Fire Serpent is a 9. So yeah, let's have the Beastmaster destroy the Shade by himself. We got 1 card left here. Oh, aha, I'm dumb. Well, I did it. Let's let the fire go down by 1 because I didn't kill the fairy first. We'll get her now with the Rogue. That does make the Fire Serpent weaker. He's down to an 8. Oh, there's a summon. So one of us has to get hurt. Who's about to rest? Ah, the Ranger. The Ranger has to rest, so let's go ahead and hurt her. High Priestess comes in. Place the top 2 Acolyte cards from the graveyard in front of the High Priestess. So only 1 of them is in the discard pile, so that's not terrible. Although when he comes in, we add a creature to the Horde, so that was kind of a double hurt right there. And this became a little bit trickier, but I still think we'll be fine. I just got to get that Acolyte first. Let's have the Beastmaster get him right away. So 8 and then 9. We have to have enough for that, right? Yeah, 8. On the Fire Serpent all by himself. And then, sure, the Ranger can take care of the High Priestess. All right, here we go. Second to last, Wizard's Cottage. Our fire goes up to 9. And don't forget the person who goes to camp, the Ranger in this case, is going to get to re-roll their dice. 6 enemies. Speaking of dice, let's see how they look. Rogue's got 6, 3, 1. Oops. Ranger's got 8, 2, 1. Okay, that worked out. Beastmaster, 2, 3, 6. Wizard is back with 1, 2, 4. So the Ranger will go and re-roll her 2 weaker ones since she's going to camp. Ooh, 5 and 7, okay. And she does get to heal her only injured card. Okay, so she can heal because she didn't get the actually 6. She doesn't need to anyway. Checking map wouldn't help at all. Equipping, I think she's fine. So I could just chop a lot of firewood. Yeah, I mean, that seems like the thing to do. Let's just do 5, 7, 8. That's 2, 4, 6. Max firewood, 15. The Ranger's chopping like crazy. And here we go, our final fight before the end, and oh man, we are going to have to reshuffle one more time, so maybe we could see some of those unhallowed cards pop back in. Yeah, we're revealing 3 at a time, of course. An Eagle, hey. Fire Serpent at 15, gosh. And an Ember Drake, 12. Wow, those are some heavy hitters. Oh yeah, I mean, those guys are ridiculous. Let's make this easy. Chaos Blast, both of them out of existence. And then we do add a new creature to the end of the line. And let's go ahead and backstab 2 of these guys. Oh, and we are going to reveal 2 more. Wyvern. And a Bandit, both we don't want to get to first. Let's backstab the final 2 people before they move up. The Acolyte, that would not add a creature to the Horde. Or the Grave Shifter, who will switch with the Fire Serpent and become the 15. Well, I don't want the Horde creature, so I'm going to destroy the Acolyte. That does mean we now have a 15 level Fire Serpent at the back here. Alright, so we're going to leave the Wyvern alone. Ooh, Poison Blade is +2 damage for each revealed creature the next 2 attacks. Yes, please. Especially since the Rogue is only melee and can't help too much. We're getting +8 damage to our next 2 attacks. That means the Beastmaster can do 2 + 8 is 10, destroy the Wyvern. And the Wizard can do 2 + 6 is 8, and destroy the Bandit. That leaves only the Eagle and the Fire Serpent. I mean, that's pretty easy. A 3 for the Eagle. And Fire Serpent, we can just do 6 and then Curse, and he's dead. So actually I realized getting a second creature might not help me at all because I can only attack with it when I use the die for Hunt, and I can only spend 1 to defeat a creature in line, so I guess I'm okay with just my Wolf, and I just won't use my last die. Okay, we're going into the final location. Catacombs, -4 light. So we are just barely below the level 3. After the first creature is defeated, each player may reroll an unspent die, so we can shore up our bad luck somewhat, because there is no one going to camp this time, so we can't use the abilities to let us reroll everything. 10 monsters. Let's roll all our dice, although again, it doesn't matter too much because we can't reroll them. I mean, it matters, but I'm not like looking for who's going to go to camp. Alright, so sort of middling results so far. Rogue was pretty good. Wizard, not too bad. Beastmaster, oh, very good. Okay, so the Horde of 1 is going to get added to the end automatically. We've got 2 guys left in the deck. I'm going to reshuffle for the other 8. I'll show you the entire line for a second because it is pretty impressive. We're going to move back up to the front. I do have to zoom out a little bit so you can see the enemies, but hopefully you have a pretty good feel for the powers of the heroes so far. Alright, so we're at 2 fire, so Zombie Horde. Ooh, nobody's in the graveyard right now because we just shuffled, so he's only got an 8. And Goblin Chief, oh man, we're getting lucky. Reveal the 2 highest goblins. There aren't any in the graveyard because there is no graveyard. So we got just 2 basic 8 guys to start. Nothing too bad there. All right, let's get tricky with it. Let's backstab the next 2 guys. Who are they? Acolyte. Now that would add a creature to the Horde, but that doesn't matter at this point because the Horde is not going to do anything, so we don't really mind him. Or an Ember Drake, yes. Bye-bye. Yeah, I have 14. That's enough to defeat him automatically. So we do add a creature to the Horde, but again, it won't actually have any effect on the game. Then let's do a 2-value long shot on the next guy. So the summon always happens, but as soon as I summon this nasty warlord that would have made every other creature have +2 health, I defeat him. So, oh, but I do have to still exhaust an ability. I don't think I've ever actually used Elf Senses, or, well, it does prevent a reveal. Nah, whatever. All right, you can't quite see them all, but we're down to only 9 creatures now. We got one more trick to play. Let's do the Animal Sentry, discard the wolf we were saving, and defeat the last person in line, which is a Forest Giant, although he wouldn't have been boosted by anybody because he was in the back, so not too great. All right, with most of the obvious abilities used up, let's start getting some people. Oh, wait! I'm dumb. I just made the Zombie Horde a 16 instead of an 8 because I forgot to defeat them when there was no one on top of the graveyard. Well, I might save a Chaos Blast for them, but let's do a Shock Bolt on the Goblin Chief. That defeats him with 8. And let's do a 6 from the Beastmaster to defeat the Acolyte. We reveal the Shade. This is 11 fire, so only a 5 right now. No, the Rogue can't get him because he doesn't have a range. Oh, the Ranger. Okay, so the Ranger will attack and then use Sharpshooter to get an 8 back. Awesome. Okay, and there's a Wyvern. Not going to affect us too much there. Let's go and use the new 8 the Ranger just got to defeat him. Oh, an Ember Drake. All right, let's Chaos Blast and get rid of both these guys. So bam, bam. And we do add a 3rd person to the back, and it's a summon. Oh, that was bad luck. So one of us has to get hurt. Let's get rid of Smoke Bomb. I never used it. We get our very last Unhallowed, a Werewolf. All forest creatures in line have double their base health. Well, there probably aren't any. There weren't that many to begin with. Okay, now we have to reveal Metal Golem's going to protect everyone, and the Bandit will steal. Ah, that's a bad combination, because he's going to steal a die after we defeat the Metal Golem, and we can't... Oh, we can't do direct attacks. We can kill the Bandit with an ability, but I don't think we have any left. Oh, well, sure we do. Here, I'll just have the Beastmaster set a snare and put the Bandit on top of the deck. Bye-bye. All right, and then Rogue plus Ranger, that's 8, defeats the Metal Golem. And then, oh, don't tell me that I can't quite defeat the Werewolf. Well, I clearly should have used my set a snare on him instead, but that's okay. Yeah, so... Oh, wait, curse! Haha! Rogue stabs him, and with our final die, the last creature is defeated. So I didn't explain this, but if you can't defeat everyone in the final round, you don't automatically lose. Instead, you take their damage values, and you only lose if everyone is defeated in your party. So like I said, I certainly should have been playing on a higher difficulty setting because I did crush this Set a Watch playthrough pretty clearly. So that's Set a Watch. If you want to hear what I thought about the game, check out my review video. I'm going to try releasing them on the same day this time, a little different. Good gaming, and I'll see you at the next step.